Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel, and this is a fortuitous series of events right now because I was just thinking, man, I really wanted to do some 21 Pilots, and the main reason for that is I really dig the sound of what was going on in their Trench album, and as much as I've heard a lot of that, I'd still like to do it because I've never really critically analyzed it. I've just listened to it passively. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do one of the songs off their albums because their music videos are really strong and great to react to as well. And then I went looking for something to watch, and they released a song like 3 days ago. So this is perfect. Apparently there's a new album, Scaled and Icy, which was 2021. Maybe I'm late to the party on this one. Who knows? But that being said, this video hit the YouTubes like 3 days ago, so it's the perfect time to check it out. And it's a fresh reaction because I've never seen this one. Now, just remember, I'll always let you know if I'm reacting to something that I'm familiar with, okay? Because authenticity is like the central tenet of this channel. I like to keep things real, rather than some other reactors who have clearly heard the material that they're reacting to before. So let's just dive right in. I've got no preconceived notions of this one. I don't know what the new sound is. Scaled and Icy is an interesting term, interesting title for an album. All right, so let's just jump in. I'm very excited for this one. Man, imagery, huh? Wow. Oh, I bet that was cold. It looks cold. Oh, dry drums, man.
I'm already bored. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. I've got a long drive, I'll tape my eyes so I don't fall asleep again. Singing out up and down, they're nodding. Heads are moving up and down. You got it. Everybody stand in line, one by one.
One thing I've always been super envious of these guys, and again, I find myself talking more and more about the videos, which was something I really didn't want to do, but something that really strikes me as interesting is they have this ability to come up with situations that feel like the narrative is already fleshed out. You don't need the context. You're not going, why is he washing up on a beach? Why is his brother there throwing him a beanie? You know, and you know that things like the beanies, face masks, for example, have been part of this journey like that. You know, if you follow 21 Pilots from the beginning, there's always little things that lock things together, like the yellow eyes and stuff like that. The album Trench was very yellow centric. They had, you know, yellow titles, yellow everything, and it all sort of was, if they were highlighting any colors, they desaturate everything and put yellow as a vivid color. Yellow or green, I'm not sure, I'm colorblind, dudes. So be that as it may, it stands out. But like you just, there's no context, but for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You're just like, okay, he's on the beach, you know. Audibly, like the main thing I'm hearing is just super dry sort of electric drums, which I'm assuming will be augmented by real drums at some point, or maybe they already have, I didn't really notice. But and again, really simplistic. Like, this guy is capable of some really interesting rhythmic patterns and stuff with rapping, and we'll see if he goes into that later on. But at the moment, he's choosing to keep it dead straight and simple. And I don't know if that's a stylistic choice of this whole album, or if it's something that just for this song, or just the intro of this song. But I love that it's self-effacing. I'm already bored. I've seen this one before. You know, there's nothing here I've seen before. It's all pure creativity.
Bored. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. I've got a long drive, I'll tape my eyes so I don't fall asleep.
I'm actually wondering if that's real drums, but just gated to the nth degree, so that there's no resonance or anything there. Because there's something about them, they sound a little bit meatier than just like, say, 808 samples or something like that.
Sleep again, singing out up and down.
It sounds
They're
analog.
nodding, heads are moving up and down. You got it. Everybody stand in line, one by one. Take a hit, join the club. Kids will try to take my vibes. Or am I on the outside?
See, again, just abstract imagery. His brother sees something in the bushes, runs in after it. There's no context. We don't know what it is. Why did his torch go out? Why does he have a scar on his nose? Like, there's none of this is going to be explained. It's just stuff that we have to deal with as viewers, right? It's just, there it is. This is what it is. See the scar? Awesome. That's pretty funky. Oh, nice.
I've got a long drive, I'll tape my eyes so I don't fall asleep again. Singing out up and down, they're nodding, heads are moving up and down. You got it. Everybody stand in line, one by one. Take a hit, join the club. Kids will try to take my vibes. Or am I on?
This has got a real Where the Wild Things Are vibe. Okay, so with the mix, the thing that I'm finding really interesting is it's so Spartan, right? There's a lot of instruments, so much space. And the way that they're doing that is everything sort of sits in its own pocket in a really dry way. This is a modern thing, because back in the old days, like, this has kind of got a funk groove to it. But in the old days, when they were recording a funk album or like an acid jazz funk or whatever, everybody would be standing in the same room, and so you get this thing called spill, where everybody's instruments are invading everyone else's microphones, and you can't separate them, and therefore there's no space. When you're balancing it, it's balancing all the levels with the, complexity of having all that other stuff tied in between, knotted together. In this case, you got your drums, which I feel like they might be real drums. I'm not sure, but either way, they're gated, which means that as soon as you hit the drum, if you can imagine the waveform slowly sort of petering out as the sound gets quieter, once it gets to a certain level, the gate will just chop it off, right? It'll close and stop that sound. And so you get that sort of psh, psh, sort of sound that you hear with the snare drum and so on. I mean, again, it could be programmed, but there's a drummer in the band. I don't know why they would do that. So, then you've got the bass guitar. If you listen to the bass guitar in this part of the video, you can hear it more. It's basically just, it's a bass with all of anything above like the subsonic frequencies or the lower frequencies of the bass have been stripped away as well. So all it is that woolly roundness and that thud of the bass. There's no tick, tick, there's no string noise or anything, because they've got the funk guitar, like a chicka 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 up the top, that again has been stripped away of everything except what's necessary. Just those sort of chicka chicka. There's no chicka 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 in there. It's all just the high elements of that. And so while there's heaps of things playing, there's nothing that gets in the way of the vast amount of space around the vocal, which is perfectly audible for like as far as pop mixing and mastering goes. You really want that vocal to kick through, but not to get in the way of the kick and the snare and the bass, right? So what else comes in?
My eyes, so I don't fall asleep again. Singing out up and down, they're nodding, heads are moving up and down. You got it. Everybody stand in line, one by one. Take a hit, join the club. Kids will try to take my vibes. Or am I on the outside?
Sure, let's follow the weird creature. This is so weird. Wow. If you've got headphones on, listen real closely to the ambient effects they've got going on. They're doing it in such a way that it sounds like they're in a cave, and you can hear all these natural sort of little bird squeaks and things like that. But there's this low energy rumble going through there that sounds constrained to the walls of the cave that they're in. And you can hear the crackling of the fire and everything like that. It's beautifully put together. None of this happens by accident. This is all very deliberately put together and just masterfully done so. These little bastards are gonna eat them, I can just tell.
I am a megalodon, oceans feeling like a pond, swimming like a beast underneath, they be clinging on. Meteoric rise in prehistoric times, now that meteor is coming. I am Megatron, cogs I'm stepping on, then the little cogs got together, started renaissance. Switch it up on me, fuel efficiency, on fumes I am running. Up and down, they're nodding. Heads are moving up and down, you got it. Everybody up and down, they're nodding. Heads are moving up and down, you got it.
Don't do it.
Everybody stand in line, one by one, take a hit, join the club, get to try to take my vibes. Or am I on the outside?
I feel like we're gonna get a drum solo. Oh my god.
I'm on the outside in the summer heat. You can pay the cover charge, I'm in the street. Little did they know that they can't touch me. I'm vibing. I'm on the outside in the summer heat. You can pay the cover charge, I'm in the street. Little did they know that they can't touch me. I'm vibing.
Oh. Damn. Come on. Wow. All right, that was wild. I'm going to be thinking about that tonight when I go to sleep. Hang around after the break and I'll give you my final thoughts. Hey guys, this video is made possible by Enchroma. 1 in 6 guys and 1 in 200 women are colorblind, and if that happens to be you, there's something you can do about it. Click the link in the description, it'll take you to Enchroma's website where you can get a free eye test. And while you're there, maybe pick up some corrective lenses. They've got styles to suit everybody and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you got really nothing to lose. And while you're there, use the code CHAOS in checkout to get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you. Yeah, so this one, like many of their other videos, I consider it to be, you know, more like influenced by where the wild things are and stuff like that. But what it is that these guys capture so well is that sort of childlike whimsy and wonder and sense of adventure that where the wild things are kind of encompasses, right? But it's not the first time I've sort of noticed that with these guys. There's always this weird sort of underlying sense of existential dread, and over the top of it is this thin veneer of adventurous spirit and youthful exuberance and childlike energy, you know? And it seems to flow through all of their stuff, and it's very meticulous. And not only that, you know, all of their stuff always plays into each other. As I mentioned earlier, there's always, like, if you watch the video clips as they come out, there's this overarching story. Maybe not a narrative per se, but there's definitely linkages that are deliberate and specifically there for fans to really enjoy. And it sort of means that you have to watch everything of theirs, which is just pure genius. But I'm sure they do it for the love of making the art rather than to suck people in to make sure that they watch all their music videos. Song-wise, look, it's pretty basic and straightforward, but I talk about this on the channel all the time. There's a mastery to taking simplicity and turning it into something innovative, new, fresh, different, and powerful. And that's exactly what's happening here, because they don't settle for what's currently going on in the zeitgeist. These guys definitely carve their own path using, you know, tools that have been around. Like, I mean, this is an interesting one because it's definitely a fat 70s funk groove, right? But then they sprinkle it with their spicy sort of, you know, hip hop sort of element, but in a way that's unique to them as well. Like, he doesn't rap like anyone else. And in fact, I consider him to be more of a poet rather than like almost like a beat poet rather than a rapper. Even though he can hold his own, he can have some really intense and intricate flows. He doesn't feel like he needs to flex that muscle. He just uses whatever. I feel like I'm saying he a lot. Just give me a sec. Sorry, I just had to double check. I knew his name was Tyler, but I wasn't 100% certain. There was some shadow of doubt, so I kept saying he and him. Tyler's, you know, his style is very unique. I also love that they use Josh as a focus a lot of the time, because I mean, in the world of hip hop, it's about drums and it's about rapping, and that's it. You know, there is a bass player in this band, but really you only need the two of them to get the job done to a degree, because that's what you need. You need a rhythm, which I guess the bass is part of the rhythm section, and you need the vocal, or the, you know, the spicy on top. And these guys, for whatever reason, and maybe it's just because I'm not exposed to that much hip hop, they just seem really unique and fresh to me. And it's not that they're just doing things different. They're just sort of shifting it subtly into their own lane, you know? And I appreciate that. I think that's where you get a point of difference. This industry, or this, you know, this community of musicians in the world, I would say probably generously that there's 90% of them are all trying to be someone else. Everybody's trying to sound like that one guy that they like, or they're pulling together a bunch of influences and trying to make that into something else. And that's just how music is. We take experiences and things that we like, and we want to recreate that in our own, through our own prism. But then there's sometimes you get artists who they want to carve their own path. They want to be someone completely different. And I mean, maybe these guys have influences that I'm not familiar with. I'm sure they do. But every time I hear a new 21 Pilots song, or I see a new 21 Pilots video, it seems uniquely theirs. You know, and I remember a few years ago when, I can't remember what album it is, came out, they won a bunch of Grammys and things like that from memory. So, you know, I'm not the only one who sees the uniqueness of what they're doing. And I, for one, really appreciate it. I think it's fantastic. Now, this brings up another interesting point. This channel is primarily about metal, but I know that there's a lot of people out there who are metalheads who are also into different genres of rap and hip hop and stuff like that. Should I start reacting to that stuff? Because I really don't have a basis for it. I mean, I know a few things. I love the Fugees. Their album The Score was pretty seminal in my youth. That's pretty much as far as my knowledge of rap and hip hop goes. And I'd be interested to see if you guys would be interested in seeing me react to that, because it would be genuine. I don't really have a context. And I've learned so much about metal from this journey. Like nowadays, my friend at work tests me. He's like, what band is playing? And I'll be like, well, the guitars sound like Parkway Drive, or that vocalist definitely sounds like Sam Carter from Architects, you know. And I'm learning and I'm being able to pinpoint things and pull things out. Maybe there's a whole different genre there of hip hop that I could really, you know, sort of start to delve into. But let me know of some places to start as a crossover. Maybe. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you watching this, especially with this video, you probably know a lot of other things in the hip hop world. So let me know. That would be fantastic. So if you feel like I've brightened your day at all, the best way you can support the channel is just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link to a PayPal donate button in the description. Also like, share, follow, subscribe. Send this to anyone you think might appreciate it. And that's the kind of things that keeps this ball rolling. It's really about you guys. And I appreciate every one of the 6,500 of you who subscribed. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. This was fantastic. I'm still probably going to go back and do some stuff off Trench, because again, as much as I've heard the songs, I haven't critically analyzed them in the same way I do on this channel. So maybe there's some leeway there. But excellent. Either way, I'll catch you guys on the next one.